quick video. So I got the black oxide chemicals and the sealer in today. So some suspension bolts here are blackened out. More than likely what I'll do is after putting the suspension together and mounting everything, I'll probably shoot a clear coat over them. Use my little detail gun and just shoot a little clear on them, just to kind of keep them looking nice. Alright, I'm out. Okay, so had to flip the car over, lower the jacks all the way down, and then I had to lower the leveling screw down far enough to drop the K-frame on. So anyways, that's that. K-frame's on. I have to do some clear work on the rest of the parts, and once I get some clear put on them, then I can go ahead and start bolting the rest of the suspension parts on. Alright, just thought I'd show you that. Like I said, I want to get this bottom side done, suspension on, and then I will lower this thing down, and I will probably put jack stands here on the rotisserie part, so not to scratch up anything on the bottom. Same thing here, put the jack stands here when I get it lowered down far enough. So alright, I'm out of here. Okay, so to get the polyurethane bushings onto the strut rod, they're not a split bushing, so they have to be pressed on there. Not like these here, you know, these are split, so you can just push them over the sway bar. But after doing some research, I went over to 4B bodies only, and Nacho had a thread over there that said to throw them in some boiling water and heat them up. But I also added a little bit of Dawn dish soap right here on these two knuckles, and with the Dawn dish soap and boiling them, they popped right on there, and that's that. Moving on to the next step. So here's a fun one, guys. You can laugh at me. So I'm looking all over for my strut rod washers that go on here for my bushings, and I'm like looking all over in my parts box, nothing. Emptied this out, nothing. Like, well, shit, maybe it's in the suspension box. I'll pull that out and look. But before I did all that, I got to thinking. I was like, well, I know I used some washers when I did that rotisserie, and well, lo and behold, here's my strut rod washers holding my rotisserie on. So, dilemma. Yeah, anyways, I'll figure it out. Alright, so disregard that last video of laughing at me because of my strut rod washers being on my rotisserie. Just scratch that. can't laugh at me because I keep stuff. And because I keep stuff. Suspension parts. Strut rods. Strut rod washers. So I got a set of strut rods with the washers still connected. But after looking around in there a little further, that set that I got on the rotisserie must be a set that I had in this drawer, because that's why I was looking in this drawer, because I thought I had some in here. So them were from a previous strip down. And look what I found. A set. Voila. So, more than one set. I just remember I have those and not to throw them away whenever it comes time. And then I'll have another set to go back in the mix. Okay. Anyways, so no laughing at me. Bye. Alrighty then. Guess it's time to break out the service manual. When they got directions on them. This side to front of car 7194. This side towards the rubber 7132. This side to the rubber 7132. So yep, got to figure out exactly which orientation them things go. And I went ahead and sandblasted, cleaned up my fender tags. So that was fun. And then I got some more of the suspension bolts in the black oxide. But at this point, I'm getting bored with it. I'm about ready to head in the house and do something inside. Alright, holler at you. Alright. So after I don't know, about an hour, maybe a couple more hours or so on this here. Excuse me, it blows up here. But after a couple more hours or so of heating it and shrinking and hammering on it, well, it don't even look like the same panel anymore. So I have been going off of that one with my handy dandy angle finder here. So go about the center here. That's what I come up with on that. And I think I still have a little bit of a proud area right here in the center. I just got to keep working at it. See if I can get this part here shrink down. But overall, it's starting to come out. and I won't have to have a ton of freaking Bondo in it to make it look good. A little skim coat. But yeah, got a little dent right there that I still need to work on. And there's a few dents in that one I still need to work on. I did go ahead and took the inner structure back in and just got it screwed on there. That way this shape is pretty much where it needs to be. Still got a little dent right there, but I've tried to get that to pop out. It's actually cracked, so I'll have to figure out something different with that. Alright, I'll get back with you. It is looking better. This is after guide coating and sanding it off. You can see most of the lows and have turned into highs now. Pretty good. Alright. Alright. And that's a wrap. That's as good as that area is gonna get. I do need to still weld these holes shut and a little bit of grinding right there, but overall you can see I got a rust area to replace there, but that'll all get done once it gets back from the blaster. That was a lot of work, but worth it in the end. That fender is got a little dent there and another dent there, and a couple little dents there. Little dents along the bottom right here on this one. Little one right there. These, none of that is too crazy. That's pretty deep, but just a little push it out on that one. Get that straight. Yep. A little hammering on that one. Oh, what joy. The whole deal though is another one there. Haven't hit these areas. But I'm happy. Turned out pretty nice considering how beat up and damaged that damn thing was. You guys got to see it. Yeah. A lot of work, man. A lot of work. Sweet. So I'll get this thing rest of the way sanded down. It's almost like oil-based paint or something that they put on here. I don't know. It is kind of greasy feeling underneath, like right there. I have no clue. But anyways. I'm out of here. Come back out tomorrow and finish sanding that. That way you can be ready to get out of here. Head on over to the blaster. Got everything lined out here. Got those washers in paint now. So I can finish up putting my suspension together here. Putting my tie rod ends back on, clean them up, get everything ready to go on there. That's where I'm at with it. I'm hoping to get this suspension put together tomorrow. Get the rest of that sanded, and then I'll call it a day. Alright. Alright, back at it. So I'm gonna do some sanding here and get this sanded all down like I got this one. Yeah, I got that all sanded. So I'm gonna sand this one down the same way, and then I'm going to start probably pecking at some of these dents on the back of, or on these here, you know, like that little booger there. And wherever else I can find them. And I'm also going to attempt to put some more parts on the front of this. Alright. So that's that destroyed area. But anyways, I was able to get it sanded off for the most part. I did find up here on the top, we already knew about this rustiness up here, which I'll have to just put a patch in here. But this has some of that, I don't know what you would call that, but like black rust. It's kind of embedded in, and no matter how hard you sand it, it's like so it's like dirt on the outside of the glass, if that makes sense. So you can wipe on the inside of the glass all you want, but it's not going to come out. That's what it seems like to me. So I'm going to try another product that is on the market called Fast Etch. Before on Pearl had probably 5 or 6 spots that were like this. What I ended up doing was I took it out back here behind the shop, and I used my portable sandblaster, and I just sandblasted all them areas to get all that out. But I'm going to try that new product and see if it works. I'll keep you updated. I ordered a gallon of it so that I can use it on my other car too. If it works on this, you know, that funkiness, because I can't have that under my paint, I think it would just come right back eventually. But if it works, I'm going to use it on the roof of this car. I got new quarter panels for this car, but I thought, what a better place to try it out on a rusty roof like that. We'll see. I watched a couple videos on it. It seemed like it works. So, alright, that's where I'm at with it. Just sanding it off. Gonna hit a few more dents today. This one here, it's got some heavy coating on the back, so I can't really hammer on these dents until I get that coating off. So that's going to require me taking it outside here for a while and getting the heat gun out and scraping all that undercoating off of the back side of it. But anyways, so yeah, that's got a crack there that'll have to be repaired, but I don't want to really work on that until I work on my gaps. do that at the same time. Alright, get back with you on it. Alright, just playing around a little bit out here. Nothing like bolting parts on to kind of get you motivated. You got to make your project fun, because if it ain't fun, then it's the opposite of fun. And none of us want the opposite of fun. So, I just got some parts, you know, in paint. Went ahead and blackened out some bolts here and put new tie rod ends on. You guys remember the other videos, but jacking around out here and to put this front end together, the suspension together, just to get it out of the way for one, and to have something I can say is complete for two. So when the car gets set down, where I start doing the body work and stuff, all that will be covered on the bottom of the car. I'm going to put plastic from the car to the ground and be able to walk all the way around it is the plan. But with plastic from the bottom side of the car to the ground, that should keep any overspray or anything like that getting in there on it, because I will be covering the engine bay and the front of the car with plastic. I mean, I own it, so might as well use it, right? Alright, just jacking around out here. I'm getting ready to push it back over to the side and thinking about just taking this on out, that fender right there, because it's got so much undercoating under it, and taking it on out there and getting busy with the scraping part of it. That way, once I get that part done, I can hammer them little dents out that it's got, which ain't too bad. Alright, just thought I'd show you that. K-frame in. Some of the bolts are tightened down, but nothing's torqued to specs. So I will have to come back and torque everything. Yeehaw. Alright, I'm out. Alright. I couldn't stay away, so I came back out here to jack around. Made some more room over here so my turbo heater there can be over here out of the way. Just had to move the engine up a little bit. But now that the suspension, front suspension's under the car, that cleared up a moving dolly for me, so I went ahead and just put the rear end and the springs and all the workings and stuff on that moving dolly. Moved it over here underneath the duster out of the way, so that gave me a little bit more room. Kind of cleared it up in here. So anyways, another thing I was doing was working on these gaps. I had a little bit of an issue with this being in too far, and my line wasn't quite lined up, but I think I'm pretty good now. I still need to work on this area down here. Same thing on the other side, but pretty decent gap all the way down. Lines are starting to line up. I might need, I don't know, it's pretty darn close here. I mean, even if I just nick the corner here a little bit and just hammer it in, that's going to make almost a perfect match. So anyways, hold on a second. Alright, let's get the car back a little bit. Same thing on this side, but this one didn't need as much work. Just a little bit of hammering through here. I went ahead and exposed this rust area here so I can work on getting that cut out. But the same thing over here on the gaps. Super good. All the way down to here, it starts to tighten up a little bit. But overall, it's going to turn out pretty nice on my gaps there. So anyways, got it all lined up looking pretty. That was just one step that I have been meaning to do, but hadn't really took the time to do it. But let me show you both sides. Nice. The same thing over here. Really nice. All right, that's where I'm at with it. Talk at you later. Some more boring, useless information for you guys. So, this is what I'm working with here on the undercoating. Gotta get all that mess scraped off of there. I don't know who was doing the undercoating that day. They did a crappy job. Done. Alright, I'm out. Okay. Just like that. We got the undercoating all scraped off of this one. A little bit of sandpaper back in here. Clean it all up. Like I was saying, I'll probably have him blast this section, Pete and repeat, you know, went for a boat ride. Pete fell out and I was left. Anyways, that's where I'm at with it. I'll be moving on to the passenger side one now. Alright. Okay. So that's a wrap on that, on the undercoating. And you can clearly see why this fender was in better shape than the other one, because the guy actually took the time to have undercoating on all of this except for this. But all of that, all the way to here, that didn't have undercoating, and all of this up to here had undercoating. Look, no rust holes on this side of where the undercoating was, but rust on this side, rust holes in this side where the didn't have no undercoating. that stuff works. It does protect. But like I was saying, that's the difference between the two fenders, where this one, there was no undercoating up on here on either one of them. But there was very little in these areas up here. You can see he didn't come all the way down in here like the other guy did. That's why we have rough hole issues in this area. He did come over a little bit here, but wasn't nothing in this area. That's why we got all these rust holes all through here. Alright, I'll get back with you. Just jacking around. Probably take the sander to it. The one thing I did figure out after scraping undercoat off the bottom of cars several times, well, twice, but it's a lot of undercoating under there. After you get done with your heat gun and your scraper, I know reducers expensive, but they do have a cleaner that you can get, and you can clean it all up with that cleaner or the reducer, either one, and it gets that kind of a residue off of it. Alright, so this is just the beginning of this here. I took the 60 grit on the electric DA and sanded as good as I could in here. But alright, yeah, just another step in the process of getting these things straightened out. They'll be like brand new fenders when I'm done. Alright, I'm out. Okay. So I worked on this a little bit and knocked that dent out that was right there. Still needs a little bit more work. It's not too bad. And I did notice there was like a crease right through here. And I worked on that too. It's pretty nice. Got this one out a little bit. Still got to work on it a little bit. But overall, little spot right there. Knock that little dent out a little bit. And then it's got quite a few down here along the bottom, as you can see. But working at it. You know how bad that one was. So if I can straighten that garbage out, I can straighten all these small ones out here. Alright, so the fenders are starting to look pretty good here. I'll call the sandblast guy tomorrow and make an appointment. See if I can't get him over there to him this week sometime. That way I can get them back and then start on the sheet metal part of it. Get them straightened up on the rust holes. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Get them rust holes straightened out. Them holes, drill holes filled in. Rusty, crusty. Alright. It's cool out here today. 78 in the garage, had the fan on. Had a little bit of music playing. But I'm done for now. I'm gonna get out of here. Go eat some lunch. Maybe find a movie or something. It's like a cool day over here. Later. Alright. Not gonna lie, because I'm a beginner. I thought I could take some dry guide coat, you see it right there, and put it on there and help find my dents, but nah, that didn't work quite as way I thought it would. And after getting on the internet and looking, yeah, you can't do that. So some people use, I guess, permanent marker to do their metal work, and then some use some blue dye or something like that to do it. What I've been doing is hitting it with the 60 grit on the orbital sander there, DA or whatever, and then after that I've been taking a block with I think it's probably 220, I think it was, hold on, and I could probably use like a 180 or something like that, but taking a block with 220 and going across it, and it's actually showing the highs and lows. So that's where I'm at with it. I worked on these dents that were in this fender here, and I think I got them pretty smoothed out. This one here is really almost there. Just got a little small spot right here. You can see. You can feel it with your finger right there. Rest of it feeling good right there, and then all of a sudden, yeah, you start to feel a little bit of a ridge right there. But another little dent right there. You can feel with your finger. But I see taking this rag and wiping this rag over, it really amplifies that feeling in your finger where you feel it popping out at you like that right there. So you can see it right there a little bit on the camera, but that's where I'm at with it. I'm going to try to do as much metal work as I can to make these lasers straight, man. I don't want to go to the car show and pull in the parking lot and be waving at everybody, hey, what's up, man? No, because I do go to car shows and like going to car shows, and I've been to plenty of them that are like that. That they be waving at you as you're going by, man. So I'm not trying to be that cat. Alright, talked to the sandblasting people this morning, and they're doing a parking lot right now, taking the stripes off a parking lot, so they won't be available until like Thursday. I have been gathering a few more parts, like the brake pedal assembly. That's out of that other car, but this one's got one in it still. I haven't took out, but I figure if I got one out, I might as well just take that one over and have him blast that one. Gonna get my breather blasted, the exhaust manifolds, the battery tray, have him go ahead and do the brake booster, the master cylinder, and then the inner structures on them. That should be about all the sandblasting stuff I need to have done. I'll look through my bucket over here just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that's it. All them brackets were sandblasted a while back and then powder coated, so I don't have to do that. Power steering pump, Them are small enough brackets I could just do in here. But alright, just thought I'd give you guys a shout out here on Tuesday. Went did a couple service calls and come back and jacked with this for a little bit. And I'll tell you right now, I'm a firm believer in that shrinking disc. Dude, you can pound the dents out to a certain point where you feel like you're almost there, you know what I'm saying? And then you can run that on both sides of the panel, and whatever ones are pointed this way, you push back in, and the ones that are pointed that way, you push back this way. And man, I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference. If you're ever going to do sheet metal work, as a beginner now, don't forget, this is, you know, I did body work on my blue car Pearl, and I got it pretty nice, man. I mean, it's show quality. You can go to the car show. I've won second place at World of Wheels with it. But, I don't know. That metalwork's a different thing. So, alright. That's where I'm at with it. Hope you guys enjoy the videos. I'm out. Okay, end video for the week. It's been kind of a disappointing week. Although I did continue to work on these fenders, and I've got this pretty straight. I did have some dents in this area here, so I had to remake this line by getting behind here and putting like a chisel and doing a little bit of hammering along the line to get it back straight. First I had to straighten the dents out here and here, and then once I got these dents as straight as I could get them, at that point I went ahead and used the rounded off chisel. Got it a little bit rounded off where I could kind of put it sideways and go along the line. So anyways, I got that line back on there, and the dents kind of knocked out of that area. I did get that Eastwood spray, the fast etch, and I'm thinking that it's more for like a surface rust. It's not for a more pitted rust. For like this here, like the surface rust that's here and the black spots that were on that other fender, it kind of took them out. But these deeper ones here, it basically ate through the rust and created kind of a hole. But it is what it is. We'll still clean them out, and I'll try to tack weld all those holes shut. But like I was saying, like on this one here, for that black rust that was in here, it got the majority of the black rust out, and this pitted stuff, if you can see, it kind of turned it black, and that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to turn the rust, what do you call it? They converts the rust. So anyways, I say it works for the most part. But for any really heavy rust, and 30 minutes, no way in 30 minutes. I could say a clean panel, if you were just using it to put this coating on, this protective coating on, yeah, on a clean panel, you know, you could spray it on there and come back 30 minutes and it would look like this. It would have that protective coating on it. But as for the rust part of it, that was, I don't know, probably about 6 hours or so that I had to have it on there with a piece of plastic covering it. Right there, my plastic. So the disappointing part was trying to get a hold of the sandblasting people. I called them Tuesday. Monday was a holiday, of course, so I didn't mess with them. But Tuesday I called them, and they said that they were busy doing a parking lot, and to call back Thursday. Called back Thursday morning. Didn't get an answer. Called back about an hour later. Still no answer. Left a message. Message says I'll get back with you in 24 hours. I don't know what's going on with them, but waited 24 hours. They didn't call back. So I called back the next morning. Still no answer. And still no return call. So I'm going to have to find someone else to do the blasting work that I got set up so that I can move forward with this project. So remember, I got a brake booster. You got and I could probably do all this stuff in my cabinet, but I was just hoping to take it to somebody and pay them to get it done and over with and out of the way, because my cabinet, you know, you can do little section and it takes a while, and then my air compressor is probably 15 years old and it's about due to be replaced anytime. But long story short, I didn't get my parts blasted, the ones like I wanted to. This is some real heavy rust on here. I sprayed some of that on there just to see what it would do, and yeah, it won't eat away no heavy rust. But I need to get those buckets done, and that inner structure's done, and I need to get these pieces done so I can reinstall them on my fenders and move forward with getting them cleaned back up and hung on the car so that I can work on the body lines, work on the fenders, and get them nice. So meanwhile, back at the ranch, I have to move forward and I have to do other things, so I decided I was just going to attempt to put the brake lines and fuel lines on the bottom of the car, because I can do that. So that was another disappointment. I pulled out when I ordered it, I ordered everything. So here's the front brake lines. Good deal. Here's the rear brake line. Good deal. It's shaped a little bit different here at the end, but I'm sure it'll work. It worked on my last one. Now, my fuel line, and I had a feeling that this was going to happen, it's a 2-piece, and I need a 3-piece. So at this point, all I can do is go buy some more tubing and bend this other piece to match this big piece here, which is for the fuel separator, because this car has got a vapor separator on the pump. So now, dilemma here, I got to figure out what to do on that. Go get some more brake line or fuel line and bend that section and match it up, or wait until Monday and call them up and ask them if they have the fuel separator line and if it's sold separately. So what I'm talking about is, you have your vapor canister that mounts back here on this little section, and then it's got a line that goes from it Now my fuel pump, or fuel tank, it's got 2 lines coming out of it. And the second one, I think it's to burn the vapors from the tank, because it's got another line that comes up here and it hooks to that piece. You can see where one hooks to the fuel line. Yeah, so one hooks to the fuel line and one hooks to this one, the vapor separator or whatever it is. So that's where I'm at with that. I gotta either find out if they have the other line or make it myself to be able to put the fuel lines on. So another dilemma. I don't know. I think I don't want to give up and walk away and not do anything today, but ain't much more I can do. So I think I might hammer on these fenders a little bit more. But if you know anything about body work and stuff like that, it gets boring and it gets overwhelming, and you want to walk away from it for a while, but at the same time I can't be walking away. So I do have this section here where the line needs to be worked on a little bit to make it a little more pronounced, because it had some heavy damage here, heavy damage here, and heavy damage here. So that line is kind of beat up through there. So I guess, I don't know, I guess I can do that today and at least have something accomplished. And I could probably install the brake line, but to install the brake line I have to pull out my clips and get my clips sandblasted and cleaned up. So that's where I'm at. All right, later.